Hey Vegas, who are the top 10 QBs in the NFL right now?
I don't know. Let's find out. What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And welcome, everybody, to today's video where we give who we think our top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL are. This is a combined list, so we each gave our top 10s and combined the list and averaged out who the top 10s are between these lists. So, if you see any quarterbacks you think are in an outlandish position, it is entirely T-Bone's fault.
Okay.
Now, before we jump into this video, we wanted to remind you all that we will be having our Puppy of the Week segment beginning this fall. So if you want to see your dogs featured on the channel, be sure to fill out the form. The link is posted down in the description. And be on the lookout for Power Rankings videos. This segment will be at the end of every Power Rankings video, starting in week 1. So if you want your dogs on the channel, go fill it out. It's going to be a fun time. And with that being said, let's jump into the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Starting off with number 10, Jordan Love. Jordan Love had his first year as a starter for the Green Bay Packers. The fourth-year quarterback came out, had a great year, led the Packers to the playoffs, got a playoff win over the Dallas Cowboys, and put up a darn good fight against the eventual NFC champion, San Francisco 49ers, and the entire time, Jordan Love looked absolutely spectacular, and he earned himself quite the payday. I actually think it's a little bit of an overpay, but I also think that for almost any quarterback contract that's not Mahomes' right now, but that's just what teams are doing. But Love has been absolutely excellent, and he's shown no signs of slowing that down. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Real quick, I kind of agree on the whole QB contract thing. I think everyone's getting paid a little bit too much, but talking about Jordan Love, I was very impressed with how he performed last season. I mean, he had a few shaky games here and there, but as the first year of a starter, he was great. It went toe-to-toe against the 49ers. I mean, there's not much else to it. I mean, great presence, nice throw, and good stuff.
Yeah, and now obviously bit of a sample size issue, only one season, but he impressed enough last season for him to just squeak onto this list. Alrighty, our number 9 quarterback is Justin Herbert. Herbert did not lead the Chargers to the playoffs, but that was not his fault. He has balled out for that team every year, and that team has let him down. Brandon Staley finally fired, many years too late. Harbaugh is in, and I think Harbaugh is going to do a lot with that team. Now, obviously, tough division with the Chiefs and whatnot. But I still think that Herbert is a big reason why the Chargers were ever where they were at any point to begin with, like when they made the playoffs a couple years back. Now, that was a pretty embarrassing loss, but Herbert has balled out for years, put his heart and soul into the Chargers, and now that they actually have a good coach, I'm hoping that they'll repay the favor to him. T-Bone, your thoughts?
He has really balled out every single year. I mean, he's thrown for 5,000 yards. That is no small feat. It really is just the organization letting him down time and time again. But sometimes it's on you. But he is talented enough to be on this list. I mean, if he just gets in a better situation, he will skyrocket this list. I remember years ago, the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl. It was a debate between Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and I think that could come back. It's just he needs to get in the right situation.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, has the arm talent, has the processing, has the legs. I mean, he has all of the tools that you could ask. I think he might be better than 9, but just because of the situation and then also what happened in the playoffs a couple years ago, we do need to see a little more from him before we rate him above some of these other guys. But we still love Justin Herbert, great quarterback, and hope he does well. Alrighty, our number 8 quarterback is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy leads the San Francisco 49ers to within an inch of a Super Bowl championship. Now, to be fair, that was the best roster in the NFL besides maybe the Baltimore Ravens. The 49ers, great team, but every great team needs a great quarterback to lead them. You've seen what bad quarterback play can do to great teams. Just look at the Jets the last 2 years with Zach Wilson. Brock Purdy has stepped up, been an absolute leader, and has been great in the pocket now. He's not a running quarterback, so a lot of people don't rate him as highly. He's not as mobile, and that's kind of the big trend of what people like. But Brock sits in the pocket, makes the right decision, makes great throws, and leads his offense very, very well. And he puts up great numbers and has impressed. Now, obviously, he's in probably the best situation a quarterback could be in the NFL, but that doesn't change the fact that he's still stepped up in a really big way for this team. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Being in the situation does, and as good as Brock is in, does not detract from the success he's had as a quarterback. So though he is in a great situation, I don't think that should detract from the fact that he's a great quarterback. He is able to do a lot of good stuff. I mean, you can't just have a Super Bowl appearance and be, not considered a pretty good quarterback. I mean, I know you have some outliers here and there, but most often, if you're leading a team to a Super Bowl as the quarterback, you're partially why they're there. So, I kind of counted Brock out a while, but, the proof is in the pudding. You can only hate for so long. I mean, how much more does he have to prove?
Absolutely. Brock has done so much for that organization. And again, people look at on the field. There's also off the field stuff, too, and he's really stepped up in a big way there. Brady talks about that recently with Stephen A. at Fanatics Fest, but what happens on the field is only a third of a quarterback's job, and Brock does the off-the-field stuff really well as well, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that just because he isn't as fast or as athletic as, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. But he still has been absolutely excellent for the 49ers organization, and I can see him making many more deep playoff runs. Alrighty, our number 7 quarterback is Jared Goff. Jared Goff led the Lions to the NFC title game and absolutely balled out the entire time. That 49ers team was just a little too good for the Lions in the end. But regardless, Goff proved that he can be a high-level NFL quarterback last year. He's been to the Super Bowl before. He's proven he can go that far. Again, fell just a hair short against a loaded 49ers team and a very well-coached 49ers team. And I also got to give credit to Dan Campbell and what he's done as the coach of the Lions. But Jared Goff has been excellent for the Lions the last couple of years. And I'm super excited to see what this team's going to do this year because I actually think they've gotten a little bit better. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I do also think the Lions have gotten better. Jared Goff is an interesting case for me. I remember, when the first year he was on the Lions, I remember saying in a class in high school, saying at the top of my lungs, Jared Goff is the worst starting quarterback in the league. And then, obviously we had washed Cam Newton that couldn't throw for more than 10 yards. But I just wanted to defend him. The culture and just total shift of all the Lions personnel and team is just, it's incredible. And it's thanks to how the team has been built, the coach, and the quarterback. Jared Goff is a good quarterback, and I am a Jared Goff defender now.
Yeah, Jared Goff has really impressed, and I wasn't as high on Goff. The following years after the Super Bowl, the Rams kind of went downhill, and I think part of that, too, was the Rams' offensive scheme was kind of sniffed out by originally the Bears, and then Belichick saw it, copied it, did it better, and won a Super Bowl off of it. Took an offense that put up 54 points against Kansas City, held them to 3 in the Super Bowl. So, and when everyone saw the formula, they were able to stop it, and they looked kind of anemic. So I'm sure that affected perception and whatnot. And Goff definitely did play not as well, but Goff has really stepped it up the last couple of years, and I think Campbell's done a good job instilling confidence in him, and that's just allowed him to free himself and ball out. Alrighty, our number 6 quarterback in the NFL is Dak Prescott. Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a division championship against all odds after an incredible Eagles collapse, quite frankly. The Eagles had an incredible start to the year and somehow lost their division to the Cowboys. And credit to the Cowboys for taking advantage of the opportunity and then losing to the Green Bay Packers, because that's just what the Cowboys do. They perpetually lose to the Packers, and there's nothing you can do about that. Dak Prescott played very, very well last year, played incredible football. Now, obviously, the playoff success has been an issue, but I think that playoff success is less of a him issue and more of a Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy issue, especially with some of the decisions that have been made in recent years, particularly against San Francisco. But regardless, Dak Prescott played excellent football last year. He came back from his injury really strong, turned down the turnovers, and absolutely balled out. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Despite some people saying, including me sometimes, that there's a turnover issue, you can't. The proof is in the pudding. Literally led the league in touchdowns last year. Helped CeeDee Lamb have one of the best, Dallas Cowboy wide receiver seasons. It's just, I get it. Okay. Sometimes I'm not big on him with the Cowboys. Can you really enjoy the Cowboys? But, the proof is in the pudding. He is a very talented quarterback, and you can see that. You can see that in how he plays, which is why he's earned that spot.
Yeah, and Dak will always have to prove himself to everybody every year, because that's the Cowboys quarterback situation, because the Cowboys, while being called America's team, are actually the most hated team in the NFL, and sometimes you're gonna take fire for being on that team, even if you're playing well. That's gonna be the case with Dak, but we like what he's been doing, so we got him at number 6. Alrighty, moving on to number 5. We have C.J. Stroud. Stroud was a rookie last year for the Houston Texans and led them to a division championship playoff berth where they went on to absolutely annihilate a very hot Cleveland Browns team before eventually bowing out to the Baltimore Ravens. But everyone expected the Houston Texans to be a very bad football team last year, and they were not a bad football team. They ended up being a very good football team, and a huge reason why is the play of C.J. Stroud. He was absolutely excellent. Now, brand new head coach DeMeco Ryans also was brilliant and built up that team really, really well and coached that team incredibly. So you have to give credit there, but Stroud was excellent throughout the year. It took a long time to throw an interception. Very long time to throw his first interception. Was very good at protecting the football, making plays, doing good things, and leading the Texans way further than anyone had them going. T-Bone, your thoughts?
As a Panthers fan, I have to say that C.J. Stroud wouldn't do any better in our situation. So I'm forced to say that per my contract as a Panthers fan, because I have to still defend the number 1 overall pick. That being said, literally, I think everyone wrote off the Texans and C.J. Stroud. They blew us away. I think the 2023 Texans are one of those teams that it's just they defied every single thought, and part of that is C.J. Stroud. And it really is. I mean, it's, part of it's the team, part of it's the chemistry and, how everything's meshing. But it's the quarterback ultimately that was a main piece of this. I mean, breaking rookie records, it's insane. So, no, I absolutely think that he has earned this spot despite being a rookie. I think it's just been amazing.
Yeah, and you talk about what he's going to have next year. He's going to be thrown to Stephon Diggs, for crying out loud. And he'll be behind a better offensive line. I think next year C.J. Stroud is going to be an absolute menace, and the Texans are going to be a very, very difficult team to beat. Alrighty, our number 4 quarterback is Joe Burrow. Burrow, injured for pretty much the entire year last year. Unfortunate situation, and it's not the first time he got injured, although that was year one on a really, really bad Cincinnati Bengals team that was not capable of protecting him. But he came back the next year and led that team to the Super Bowl, where he eventually fell to the eventual champions, the Los Angeles Rams. But regardless, Joe Burrow, when he has been healthy, has absolutely balled out every single year and gone toe-to-toe with the best of the best, and even has beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, which is the only other quarterback to do that, Tom Brady. And he would have done it twice if it weren't for some very questionable calls. We'll leave it at that. But Burrow, absolutely brilliant quarterback, excellent football player, and got some swag too. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I'm not going to leave it at that. The Bengals were absolutely hosed, and the Chiefs got a one-way ticket to fraudland with that ring. I'm not going to accept it. I won't. I also think that Joe Burrow should be higher on this list, and you'll know why soon. Me and Vegas and then argue about it. But we were chippy about it.
I wouldn't say we were chippy.
I don't. You're an idiot for who's above him, but he was hurt for like the whole year. I think Joe Burlisi, when he's healthy, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I think if he can stay healthy, because that's the thing, it just seems to be the week 1 through 5 Bengals always have just the worst hangover. It's not a Super Bowl hangover anymore. It's a postseason hangover, I guess. But just no, he's so good. He's so good. He's so talented. I will bet him. I will bet all my money on him beating Patrick Mahomes if everything is fair.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with him maybe being higher. The only reason I have him at 4 and not 3 is the injury last year. It's like he's got to be able to come off the injury and prove he can still do it, because sometimes quarterbacks get hurt and they don't have it anymore. Now, I think he will be just as good, but I do need to see it before I'm willing to fully commit, and I don't think you can blame me for saying that. Alrighty, our number 3 quarterback is Josh Allen. Allen leads the Buffalo Bills to a division title over the Miami Dolphins. That team got going late, did what they needed to do after the Dolphins had accumulated a large early lead, won the division, won a playoff game before eventually falling to the Kansas City Chiefs yet again in another heartbreaker. But Josh Allen has been the big reason why the Buffalo Bills are able to do what they do every year, and he is never the reason why they lose to Kansas City. And he has just been absolutely excellent, an insane freak athlete, makes incredible plays, incredible throws, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. And he's led his team to lots and lots of success. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he does without his number 1 receiver, Stephon Diggs, and without his number 2, Gabe Davis. He lost his 2 guys. He'll have new people coming in. It's not going to be as good. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to handle that, or how much, his teammates hurt him despite his good play. But Allen has still been an excellent quarterback for a while now, and we fully expect him to continue to do so. T-Bone, your thoughts?
When you Google the phrase one-man army, Josh Allen should come up. That poor man has dragged a... You know what? No, I'll say poverty. They were pretty poverty before him. I mean, you had the 90s stint, but when you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick, no disrespect, as your starter for a good bit, that just... You're in a bad way. Josh Allen has forced this team from the ashes to be in competition and in contention, only to have, not his fault, only for everyone on the single team besides him to sell when he needs to beat the Chiefs. But he is a great quarterback, and I hope one day they'll do him right.
I don't because I'm a Patriots fan and I hate the Bills, but if Josh Allen leaves the Buffalo Bills, I will be rooting for him. Alrighty, our number 2 quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is your reigning NFL MVP. Now we believe it should have gone to Christian McCaffrey. He thought it was the best player in the league. But Lamar Jackson was most certainly the best quarterback in the NFL last year. He played absolutely brilliantly, balled out, led the Ravens to the title game where they may or may not have also gotten completely screwed by the refs against the Chiefs. I think y'all are pretty familiar with this trend by now. We may have talked about it just a small bit. But regardless, Lamar Jackson played absolutely excellent football for the Baltimore Ravens, was finally able to stay healthy. The team, for the first time in years, was finally able to stay healthy, and you saw what a healthy Baltimore Ravens can do, and that's a scary, scary team. Maybe the most complete team in the NFL last year, just didn't get lucky when it mattered, and fell just short of a juggernaut with a few extra players wearing zebra colors on their team. But Jackson, absolutely excellent quarterback. Every year that he's healthy, he leads that team very, very far, and we're super excited to see what he's going to do this year. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I believe Christian McCaffrey should have been the MVP, but that should not detract from the fact that Lamar Jackson is one of the most talented quarterbacks. He is able to sling it as well as he is to throw it. He is a great quarterback leading a great team, and if, like you said, if the Baltimore Ravens can get off the injury train for one whole year and not have refs screw them over, what they can accomplish is immaculate. So it's incredible what Lamar Jackson can do.
Absolutely. Again, Jackson has just been excellent. And every year that he's been healthy, he has played absolutely brilliant. He's won 2 MVPs now, which not a lot of people can say they have done. Now, obviously, the big question mark is the postseason success, but it's also hard to have high-level postseason success when Patrick Mahomes is in your conference. And the refs, yeah.
And the refs.
With that being said, our number 1 quarterback in the NFL, and I think everyone can agree with this, is Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is coming off of back-to-back Super Bowl victories with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, both of those have some big, fat asterisks next to them because of just how incredibly one-sided the officiating was in both of those runs. But that should not take away from the fact that Patrick Mahomes is still an absolutely incredible quarterback who plays brilliant, brilliant football every single postseason. And if it were not for his play, regardless of the officiating, this Kansas City Chiefs team would not have the success that they have. Mahomes is a brilliant, brilliant player, and he balls out every single year, and he's won 3 Super Bowls. Regardless of what you have going your way, especially when it comes to reffing, that is still extremely, extremely hard to do, and few quarterbacks have ever been able to accomplish that. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Just like crappy teams with, that surround Justin Herbert, crappy officiating surrounding Patrick Mahomes should not detract from the fact that he is the ultimate quarterback currently. He is the best quarterback, the most talented quarterback right now at this given moment. And he likely will be for a good bit. Now, that may switch hands here and there, but it is just incredible the game-changing plays that he can make. Not to be a Mahomes glazer, of course. Yes, and like you said, despite having 2 big asterisks on 2 Super Bowls, 1, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. 2, it's hard to win 2 Super Bowls. 3, it's hard to win 3 Super Bowls. And 4, it's hard to go back-to-back. It's really hard. It's so hard. In fact, I think only about like 7 teams have ever done it. 7 or 8 teams have ever done it. So, despite the Zebras helping him and, helping the defense here and there, you can see that he is a game changer. And you can see he is the greatest quarterback currently.
Absolutely. And I think that there's no one, at least with a brain, who would dispute that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback
Yeah.
in the National Football League. And until someone shows that they are better than him, which will take a lot and will be multiple years from now, quite frankly, he is number one. And I don't think he plans on giving that title up either. Alrighty, there you have it. Those are our top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Feel free to post your own top 10 if you feel like it, but we would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.